The best way I can describe this score is one that is like if Mannheim Steamroller Vangelis had a goth baby, and that goth baby was really into Metroid Prime. Hello and welcome to Cassette Take, where you can eject wherever you want, but please don't forget to rewind. I'm Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And Annmarie, what did we just go see?
We just got out seeing Marty Supreme.
Marty Supreme. No, not the style you want your Taco Bell order, but Marty Supreme, the latest film from one of the Safdie brothers, Josh Safdie.
Oh, wait, really?
We had the one from, oh gosh, what was his first name? The other Safdie brother,
The other
the one that was in Oppenheimer with the one with The Rock, Smashing Machine.
Yeah.
And, we did our review of that. Feel free to check it out. But yeah, this is the other Safdie brother, after they parted ways after Uncut Gems. And this is the other Safdie biopic that we got. And this one, rather than going around a WWE wrestler, we're here talking about a table tennis player.
Yeah, well, first off, I didn't know that, so that's super cool. But I was super excited for this film because it's the one, the only, the God among men, Timothée Chalamet.
Timothée Chalamet, aka soon to be the GOAT.
Can we really say soon to be the GOAT? He is the GOAT at this point.
Well, considering Mr. Day Lewis has
Okay,
kind of dabbled out of retirement, we'll see how those waters are
he's the
tested.
GOAT adjacent,
Go
right?
GOAT adjacent, yes, soon to be.
Well, this movie follows Marty, who is a table tennis star and is trying to make it to like the World Series, right? With
Like a world
yeah,
championship situation. Marty Mauser, real person, by the way. Big guy like in the 50s, table tennis player from the United States. This movie is, to say, to put it loosely, is loosely based on his life.
yeah, yeah. Pretty.
And he of course is played by, Timothée Chalamet, as we said, and this is quite an ensemble cast, coming out of the gate here.
Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow, Mr. Wonderful's in this movie. There's so many people.
Yeah, and then we got Wonder Woman maybe to be in, oh, what's her name?
Oh,
Oz Ozinasa?
oh
Or gosh,
no.
she was in,
She's
I Love
great in
LA.
it too, though.
Yeah, I'm whipping out the IMDb.
Honestly, I don't blame you. No, she's wonderful in it
Yeah,
as well.
Odessa A. Zion, I believe.
Really?
So, yeah.
I can see her as Wonder Woman too, so
Yeah, exactly. If Tom Cruise can, can be considered taller in some movies, I'm sure we can work something out with
pretty
Odessa.
why not?
But, all that aside, this movie is one that we weren't sure if we were gonna get in before the end of the year. We were actually just gonna jump right into our top 5, but we squeezed it in. And Amory, I gotta ask you, are you happy we were able to squeeze this one in, or was this one that you would probably be like, I probably could have used my time better?
No, I really did enjoy this film. Again, I think any movie Timothy's in, I'm like, yes, biggest fan, honestly. I wanna go see him and his, craft, basically, and so I'm so glad we got it squeezed in. Sorry, everyone, we were off for the week of Christmas. Hope you had a great holiday, of course,
Mhm.
but we're so glad that we were both able to see it, and I think it's a film that is very different than what I thought it was gonna be.
Yes. I would honestly compare, and we didn't do a review for this one, but I would compare the structure of this film to Hamnet
Yes.
quite a bit, where a lot of people will not get on board with this movie. I can tell you that right out of the gate just from how the intro, one of the craziest introductions, by the way, of a
Wild.
movie. Um, Not one for the kiddies. So
Do not take your kids.
yeah, do not. Um, but it is definitely a movie that is only fulfilled but like the second half of it is fulfilled by what comes first. And you don't appreciate the first half and everything that goes on and transpires in the movie until you get to that last act of the movie. And it's truly a self-fulfilling film in that way. And Hamnet had a similar
Mhm.
situation, and here I feel like while the stylization of the film and, of course, the actors and storylines and all the other different cosmetic parts are different, structurally, I think it's the same, very similar to Hamnet in that way, where you got some of the greatest storytelling, uh, structure ever in the idea of fulfilling what you started. And I think that's such a great way to go about it in what I would consider in this very innovative way of storytelling that this Josh Safdie has put together here.
Well, and this is the thing. I don't really think this is spoilers. It's less about table tennis and more about his journey to it,
Yes.
basically. And so to me, again, did not expect that. I was expecting a movie all about table tennis. I was like, great, I loved F1. Couldn't stand it beforehand. And I was so excited when I saw that movie. And so I was thinking I was gonna get the same thing, but it's interesting that more of these biopics are doing that. Like Smashing Machine kind of did a similar thing where it was about his journey more than smashing other people's faces in. And so I think that was kind of different to it. And listen, like again, like biggest Timothée Chalamet fan. I think he's great. Like I think he said he was working on this film for like 6 years. And I know he played table tennis and really learned the craft. Like what can this guy not do, basically?
Yeah, and it's interesting to see, like, I had a hard time telling what was, CG and what
Mhm,
wasn't in regards to, like, was the table tennis all practical or were there certain times where it had to be CG? Like, we've seen in movies where it had to be CG. I'm very curious to kind of, like, see some behind the scenes stuff and see what was, what wasn't.
mhm,
But from, the naked eye, right out of the gate, I felt like all of it was so real. The world he created here, this 1950s world was so visceral and has that verisimilitude that we all love when it comes to cinema. And I listen, I know comparison is the death of joy, but if we're comparing like the Safdie brothers and of like who did it better, that's up to you guys. But I do think that what they both do so well is immersing you into that world that they're in, the time period. They're so good at period pieces. Say what you will about Smashing Machine, but it brings you into that era. It makes you feel like it gets you into that audience, what people are wearing, what people are feeling, how they talk, their cadences to one another. I mean, it's just so immersive, and I think Josh Safdie was able to do the same thing here on another level and different stylization to it, but yeah, it just again captures you in that same way that I think Smashing Machine does. So I would love to see them also do, whether it be together or separate, maybe like a period, another period piece,
mhm.
maybe further back, like test how far back they can go to immerse you. But
In the DeLorean, we're going back.
woo!
Did he write it?
I I think he was one of the writers on it. I know he wasn't the sole writer on it.
Okay, because the dialogue I felt was so strong and like
Mm.
so real. Like Timothy plays such a like kind of a cocky character, but I bought every single line that he was saying. And same with like Gwyneth Paltrow and Mr. Wonderful. Yes, I'm gonna call him Mr. Wonderful this whole review because I think that's funnier.
Kevin O'Leary, if you don't know.
Shark Tank, come on, guys. But I thought it was just the dialogue just felt so witty, but also the delivery of it was super well done too.
Yeah, everyone you could tell had a sort of chemistry on set here, and it really shows. It almost felt like a lot of this dialogue was improvised with how smoothly it came out, but
Mhm,
like disjointedly it came out at the same time, like a smooth disjointedness to it all, and it felt real. And I think that's actually going to be very hard for some people sitting in the theater for 2.5 hours with this movie, and that's why I'm really emphasizing the point of it's worth it by the end of it because of that fulfillment factor. Because the first half, maybe first three-fourths actually, are really like this visceral, argumentative kind of like everyone's a constant crying baby of sorts, right? And
yeah,
there's all this conflict going on, and it feels so real in what we're familiar with, but not familiar in the best way, as probably all of us are familiar with, like maybe a domestic argument or like, getting into a conflict with friends, whatever it may be. I think we're all familiar with that, and we never really like to be too a part of that.
mhm,
So to have it like a good chunk of that, like 2 hours in your face constantly, that's gonna turn a lot of people off. And honestly, when we were probably in the first hour and a half, I was just like, "Oh, man, there better be some sort of fulfillment factor in this
Yeah.
because I'm not sure if this is how it's gonna be throughout the remainder of the movie. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be willing to put up with that." But the way that Josh Safdie pieces it together, I found it, good taste.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the centerpiece was like a little slow. It's basically Timothy giving his best John Wick impression. If you've seen the movie, you understand that. You're right. Like it kind of had to be that way. So you get like the payment at the end where like Timothy Marty goes it's he's got his back up against the wall the whole time. It's like what do you do to fulfill your dream when your back is against the wall? And I think it was interesting, but again, there's certain points where it is like a lull, and that was hard for me too. So
Because it's a lot of what they've established and what we've seen before, but I think, again, the more you get of that just makes it more fulfilling by the end of it. When it gets to that climactic fulfillment factor, it's like, "Okay, I cannot see this movie ending the way it does, as well as it does, without how long,
mm,
everything else was put together and without how it went down."
I was cheering at the end. I was like, yes, like let's go. So
Part of the thing that keeps you entertained throughout this movie, other than the obvious, cinematography, performances, is I think the music, the score
yes.
by Daniel LePayton, I think his name is.
Oh.
Yeah, he worked on the other Safdie Brothers movies, like on again Uncut Gems, and here the best way I can describe this score is one that is like if Mannheim Steamroller Vangelis had a goth baby, and that goth baby was really into Metroid Prime. I'm not sure how many people are out there are going to understand that, but it's just like the first weird combination I thought of, and I'm like, whatever that is, I'm digging it, and that's just how I could
Sure.
process it in my mind and translate it.
You're always so good at recognizing it where I don't as much. And so I think I've got into the habit of like listening to it more, like, on our drives home after the movie, and so I think that was something that did stand out for me, especially at the beginning. There's some music at the beginning that was, like, different, and it really got me in the film, and I felt like, weirdly, it was, like, part of that time period in a way.
Which is weird because it's like a film that's in the 1950s, and we don't
Yeah,
associate synthesizers and, giant bombastic organs with, like, all that in the 1950s, but oddly enough, it oddly enhances the world at the same
yeah.
time.
It makes it feel more, I don't think quirky is the right word, but
It makes it, and maybe this is part of the messaging of the movie, is ahead of its time.
mm,
Like a song and music you would hear in the, like, 80s of sorts being used in a movie that takes place in the 1950s.
yeah.
So, maybe that's kind of the whole process of it all, but either way, no matter what era you're in, this score is killer, and I would be shocked if it was not nominated for an Oscar this year.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you said that because speaking of Oscars, Timothy has gone on a crazy path saying that he is going for greatness. He wants to be one of the greats. Do you think he gets nominated and do you think he wins?
I think that this film, Timmy does a great performance, like, definitely one of his top 3 or so. And this is just a personal thing, I do not think it surpassed his performance on Doom Part 2. I think that is still his best performance that he has ever given. Not to say it's the best performance he will ever give, but right now it's better than Marty Supreme, right?
Mhm.
And this performance here, though, is kind of more of what we would see the Oscars and the Academy bite on, though.
Mm.
So I have a stronger feeling that he would be nominated for it. As to win, that's harder to say because there's a lot of tough competition this year, and funny enough, probably with a fellow Safdie brother movie, with The Rock,
Yeah.
and his performance was excellent in that. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see what comes down to, but I just I would say it's his ultimate to first performance, in regards to greatness. I have no doubt Timmy's gonna reach that level of
Mhm.
greatness without question. But as to this one being the one that wins it for him, I'm not counting it out, but I'm not saying that it's a guarantee. It's not a lock. So, but what about you?
I'm kind of on the same point because like watching the film, I was like, again, I think he's one of the greatest actors of this time right now. Like we're watching a guy dominate. Overall, I just didn't feel that punch to win. Like it didn't like there wasn't a point where I was like, that's it. Like that's like we saw Hamnet and Jesse Buckley, correct?
Yes.
She, no doubt, in my mind, will win. There's a point in that movie that I'm like, "That's it. That's the winning that's what they're gonna play when they're like, 'This person got nominated,' and then plays." I'm like, "That's it." This, I didn't get that, and I love him. I really do. I think Timothy's great in it. I think this is a passion project, but it's not the one. And, like, he's there, like, he deserves it, but for this one, I just don't think it's the one for him, so
I honestly think it's significantly better than his Bob Dylan performance.
yes.
And, that one was nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say what the Academy will bite on, but I feel like he's definitely going to get the nomination.
Mhm.
Like you were saying, though, it doesn't have that same kick to it where we would see him win, I don't think. At least in my opinion, and obviously now yours. Another person that's in this movie isn't Tyler the creator in this movie?
Is he?
I think he is. I'm like,
Wait, that's gonna really throw me if he's in that too.
yeah, yeah, Tyler the creator is Wally.
What?
So yeah, and I thought that was him. I was because I haven't seen him in the media like at least by face for a while, so it was just kind of like, whoa, we forgot he was in this.
He could get a nomination.
He could as best supporting. I think he does a really great job for like the little stint that he's in for a while. And also another guy, a very small role, but was it me or do you remember that one like from years ago? We're talking like early YouTube, right? That one guy that was like homeless for a while in LA that taught had like a radio show broadcasting voice.
Oh my gosh!
Was that him? Like there's like a moment where Marty's going into like this table tennis club, and it's just like the countenance of this man is so familiar in that way. I'm like, this has got to be that guy. And I
I
don't remember his name, but I'm like, is this him?
we gotta look this up later. I'll put it in the video if it is.
Yeah, because I'm like, hell yeah, Josh Safdie. If you got this man
Oh, yeah.
in a movie that's probably gonna be nominated for an Oscar. I mean not his performance because it's probably wouldn't be
Yeah.
yeah much to really be nominated for an Oscar, but the movie itself, he's involved in that, going from a man on the streets to this like that. Hey, I got to shout out something like that's a great story.
Oh my god, the penny dropped. I was like,
But yeah, Marty Supreme here is a movie that I am most certainly glad that we took the time to go out and see. It was, believe it or not, it was between this and Anaconda that we were going back and forth
"That's
on.
later."
And, and Anaconda we'll probably check out later, but I'm glad we saw this one before we get to the end of the year for Oscars,
Mhm.
and kind of determine from there. As we'll give you guys our nice little rundown of our predictions and all that. We have the Oscar short list has already been put out, so we'll see what the nominations come down to, and I believe Marty Supreme is definitely on there quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, for sure, so
So, but it's gonna be interesting what comes down to between the two Safdie brothers, because again, they went their two separate ways this
I
year,
would
and
love it. They just battle it out. That'd be so
yeah,
cool.
the sibling rivalry we have going on
I
here
love
with
it.
them. From my opinion, if I were to like juxtapose the two and say which one I enjoyed better, even though I enjoyed both quite a bit, I'd have to say Mario Supreme was definitely the supreme version of their work, and I think that Josh Safdie takes the win in my eyes. But How about you?
Yeah, come on. Like, I didn't like the snatching machine that much. Like, absolutely.
At the
So,
but,
yeah,
again, not to say Smashing Machine was bad, I enjoyed it again, and Amory had her thoughts on it.
my opinions.
Yes. But, Amory, at the end of the day, we gotta rate this thing.
Oh,
So,
buddy.
alright, so out of 10 custom-made orange table tennis balls,
Okay.
how many would you give this movie out of 10?
I was interested in it, but I really didn't have like expectations going into the film, which I think is good a lot of times because my expectations really control a lot of my feelings and my rankings as much as I don't want them to. But I really did enjoy this film. Again, the middle's really hard to get through, but Timothy, Gwyneth, they really carry this film. And so it's something that I truly did enjoy and didn't think I would care. Like table tennis, really, who cares? But I did. And so I think I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. I think that's totally fair because it really did get a little slow at the middle, but I think it is so good, the writing. And I didn't know, like, the Safdie Josh did it. So I think that's super cool too, and so, again, we'll get a lot of nominations, deserving so, but just not something that I would be like, "This isn't, like, gonna make my top 5 probably," so
I would give it a 9 out of 10,
mm,
because it's just that fulfillment factor. If you were to ask me, like, if that movie carried on the way it seemed like it was going to, like, during that really tough midpoint, then I'd probably be with you, like, 7, 8 out of 10. But here, I just think it just hits it so well, like, where once it gets to that moment at the end, it's like, I would not be feeling this same way if it did not go down
mhm,
the way it did prior. So, to do that, by the way, is a huge feat and a huge accomplishment within itself. I think even with how it ends, though, maybe there could have been a little more of a resolution.
mhm,
I That's personally what I would have liked. Again, the way that it does do it, like, from a structural standpoint, I enjoy, but a little more resolution, I think, would have done the movie a little more justice in that, satisfactory point finale. But at the end of the day, I really enjoyed Marty Supreme. It's probably not how I expected to order my Taco Bell,
no.
Supreme, but, it's just just the way it was delivered, and I gotta say, it was one hell of a bite.
Oh my gosh.
So, but guys, that's Marty Supreme. Have you guys seen it? Is it a movie that you have yet to see because busyness of the holidays like us? I mean, does it make your top 5 since we're at the end of the year now? Whatever you're thinking, let us know your takes on our tapes in those comments down below. And with that, Emery, I think that about does it.
That I wish I had a ping pong paddle or a table tennis paddle. Let's wrap it.
All right, guys. So thank you again for joining us on this episode of Cassette Take. We hope you have had a happy holidays, and we hope you join us again on the next episode. But hey, whether you have ejected or haven't ejected at this point into the podcast, please don't forget to rewind. I've been Ethan,
I'm Marie.
and it's not the Marty normal ball, it's the Marty Supreme ball. God.